First of all, tell me this. What is the minutes of it? How many minutes? It's a ballpark figure. What's the title?
32 minutes.
32 minutes, I'll find it. So I'm watching Adam the Woo today. I'm probably going to be unsubscribing from Adam. He's doing SLC Punk, which is a pretty good punk movie. I'm getting sick of him. He's a coward. Texas is scary. I don't blame him for not coming to Texas and vlogging with me. Jacob, I just straight up, I'd probably, never mind. But he's a coward. That's why I went to New York. I went through 9/11. I studied acting. I did the things that I had to do, and I'm going to be his fan. He's a brat. His little daddy being a minister, giving him his first 700 to 1,000 subscribers. His daddy gave him everything that he has. So I'll hang out a little bit, and then, he's definitely not a churchgoer, but I'll probably subscribe for a little bit longer, and then eventually I'll unsubscribe. It just makes me sick. What a wonderful, wonderful toy the television is. Linda made a comment about the television being a toy. And what a wonderful toy that spreads all across America, the United States of America, such a wonderful country. Putting on my New Balance shoes. They have a military contract. New Balance does. They're one of the only tennis shoes that works with the United States military. And let me explain something. What a wonderful toy it is. And it's in every home, and every motel, every hotel, every Airbnb, every mansion, every trailer, every, $350,000 home that you own, or you probably own a $450,000 home, maybe even a $500,000 home. And what a wonderful toy it is. Now, today, we have an AdSense adventure. An AdSense adventure. We're going to add to your senses, because today you're going to use your imagination, and you're going to get a lemon wedge and cut a lemon and take that lemon and taste it. Then put the lemon down and then pretend like you have the lemon and taste it again. And that's sense memory. And that's all you have to do to be an actor. As long as you can do that, if you can taste the lemon and then put it down and then pick up an imaginary lemon, an invisible lemon, and put it to your mouth and taste it again, and if you can recall that taste, then you can do it all. You can master the world of acting and become a movie star just like Robert De Niro or Marlon Brando or Laurence Olivier, who probably worked on his senses. Or, Gary Oldman. That's a good actor. And you go out and get yourself a headshot. Get one where you're smiling like this. And then another one where you're going like this. And send those out to your local agency in your town. And put down on a piece of paper, my name is, and put your name down. And I'm looking for commercial, television, and film work. And I would like you to represent me as my agent in the entertainment industry. Then put your name under that again, and your address, and a phone number, and an email. Be sure to put that email. And the phone number too, because I can text you. Steven Spielberg will text you tomorrow and tell you to get in touch with his people, and he's going to use you in a new movie. That's all you have to do. That's the Steven Spielberg way of making it in the entertainment industry. And also you can just start a YouTube channel and become a celebrity. And welcome to the Please Subscribe show I'm Cole Spivey.
I'm Linda Spivey.
And today we're going on an AdSense adventure. The world. Smile. Big smile. Constant smile, just like David Lynch in Mulholland Drive. Big, constant smile, very abnormal. Yeah, okay. And we're going on an AdSense adventure for you. Big smile. Big smile. I'm serious. Okay. And we gotta go. So come along with us, and that's amazing.
Amazing.
Okay. Well, BMWs are kind of cool. They do have a good rep, the BMW. So every YouTube post or YouTube video you create is called an asset, okay? So if you've got 11,000 videos, then you have 11,000 separate assets that can make you a lot of money because of AdSense and advertisement. So anytime a hurricane can come in and sweep things away and you even make it even more of an asset, meaning it can lift it up off the ground and make a huge asset where you're making billions and billions of dollars because of AdSense. Advertising and marketing is one of the top resources in our country, in the United States of America, that make people a lot of money. Now here's another thing. It can also take off like an earthquake. So your YouTube channel can take off, and just like an earthquake, bam, you're a billionaire.
Where's Edel?
Okay, so while we're here, Linda's brushing her teeth, and I decided to do a show today about a veterinarian clinic. This is like where you take your cat or your dog, like a vet clinic, a veterinarian clinic. The name, I'm not going to use the name of the vet clinic because I don't think it was the same name. I think it was called like Paws Clinic or something like that, or something similar to that. I don't know the exact name of the clinic, but it has a new name now. So I'm not going to reveal that name, but I'm going to tell you about the vet clinic and what happened to my cat, which is a half Manx cat, Itsy. It was a grayish white cat, and it was called Itsy. All right, so when I was probably, the first time I got married in Fort Worth, and it was to this half Sicilian lady named Sarah, and she was first my friend for about a year. We were engaged for about a year, and we met in Crowley, Texas. I'm not in Crowley right now, I'm in Fort Worth. And we lived in Crowley for about a year, and then, we lived in one apartment complex for a year, and we moved across the street, off of the street called Mustang, and we lived in a townhome, or it was a duplex, it was more like a duplex, for about 2 years. And then we decided to leave Crowley, and we moved to Fort Worth, and we moved to a place called Ridgemar Boulevard. And we lived in Ridgemar from 2007 to about almost 2010. It was about 2007, 2009, about 2 years. We lived in this apartment complex, and there was a military personnel guy that owned our little building. So it was a building of about 4 apartments. No, I'm sorry, 4 apartments. And we had 4 cats. So we had Itsy, we had Romeo and Mojo, and we had a cat named Squeak. Now Itsy lost his eye, and it was a Tonkinese, and Itsy lost his eye. I may have said he was a Manx, but Itsy was a Tonkinese, and they had to sew his eye back on, but that was done in Arlington. Well, they didn't sew his eye back on, they just sewed his eye shut. So he had one eye, and then the other eye, was fine, and they had blue eyes, and then that was the Tonkinese. Then we had Romeo and Mojo. They were fine. They even went to Maine with me later on after the divorce. And then we had a cat named Squeak, which was a runt cat that came from a runt litter. At one time when we were in Crowley, we had 20 cats. We had to get rid of about 16 of the cats to non-kill shelters. That right there is a veterinarian clinic
for cats and dogs. So basically, when we moved to Ridgemar, we lived in an apartment complex, and we noticed that Squeak was meowing quite a bit. And that was kind of the reason why his name was Squeak, because whenever he was a kitten, all the cats that we had, all 20 cats, we all raised them from kittens. Every single cat we have, we raised them from kittens. And Squeak would meow a lot, and he even when he was a little kitten, he would meow more than the other cats. So he was the runt. And we took him in. He was also born from a Manx. We had a Manx named Sugar. It was a Manx cat. She was the mama cat. So she was kind of mean. She would like scratch you if you went around. She'd do, you know. And she was a pretty mean cat, and she was the mom cat of all the, I guess almost all of the like 18 cats. Or Romeo was the father cat. So they basically had a litter, and then I think some of the cats inbred, and they had other litters. And we got, like I said, we got rid of like 16 of the cats. We kept 4. So we kept Itsy, Squeak, Romeo, Mojo. Mojo was a black cat with 1 white spot on his chest. Romeo was a black and white domestic, short hair. Well, just regular hair, I guess. Just domestic, regular hair, black and white cat. We originally were going to call him Rowdy because he was very energetic as a kitten, but we ended up just calling him Romeo. And then we had a cat named Itsy was the Tonkinese, and he would always hide up really high in places in the apartment. So we'd find him like up in a cabinet, or up above the television, or up in the VCR, or not in the VCR, but up on top of where we kept the VCR above like the entertainment center, things like that. So we kept him up high. And so Squeak, I'd come home from, I used to work at a telemarketing place, and I'd come home from work, and Squeak would just be meowing and meowing and meowing. And Sarah, my first wife, she would be saying, Squeak has been meowing like all day, following him around, meowing me. He's following me around, he's meowing. So I was like, what, is he following you like right on your heels and meowing? She's like, basically, he's just following me around and just meowing. I pet him, I give him food. So we had plenty of food, we had plenty of water, we had wet food and dry food, and we fed them pretty normal, mostly dry food, but we'd mix the wet and the dry. Like we use canned food like a Fancy Feast, and then we use dry food like Temptations is a treat, but Friskies, for example, you'd buy a lot of Frisky products and things like that. Well, finally, what we ended up doing was, I think she might have taken him into the vet because he was pooping like clear. It was like bubbles. He'd poop like these little bubbles. It would come out all bubbly, almost clear. It was like pooping like a larva or something. Really weird. It was weird pooping. Well, I think we ended up taking him in, and they gave him a sonogram to check for feline irritable bowel syndrome, and it turned out he actually had it, which is very dangerous for cats to have. And basically one day I came back, and she had found Squeak, or she had already found him, or this was like when I came back from work late at night or whatever. She had found him with his head in the cat food. So he had fallen over, and he was trying to eat, but his head was laying in the dry cat food. So he was just laying there, like breathing very funny. So he was trying to eat, and then he just fell over and started dying, but he was still trying to eat as he was dying. So we decided at that point to just jump in the car. He was still breathing, but he wasn't really moving, and he was trying to meow, but he really couldn't. Now Romeo and Mojo, they would go over and smell him, and Itsy would kind of go over and smell him, and he wasn't doing good. So I sat in the back seat, and Sarah drove, I think, her car. I think at the time she had a Volvo, and she was just driving, and I think that was probably the hardest cry, because I cried out harder than I ever had in my entire life. Like, I've had relatives die, I've had grandparents die, grandfathers, grandmas, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers. I've had all different types of people die in my family, and never had I shed tears crying out loud. Like, it was just yelling out, crying almost, tears just shooting out of my eyes, because I knew this cat was the dead one. But he was still breathing. So we brought him in to this place right here, and they realized that it was beyond repair, that there was no way to resuscitate him. He was a young cat, probably maybe 6 or 7 years old. Not even really that. Let's see, we got Romeo 2005. So he's maybe 3 years old, maybe 3.5 years old. And they put him down. What is it?
Chipotle lime sauce.
Did you open it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
It's mayo based.
Let me see the package again.
What did they put that on? Chicken or sandwich?
What is it?
Chipotle lime sauce.
Oh, it's from Chick-fil-A, the second church. Huh.
Cool. So better hope I fit a size 10 and an 8
Are you a size 10?
Feed me now. Feed me. Feed me some.
He's talking about Edelweiss.
Shh.
It goes,
Where's my sauerkraut?
Edelweiss, Edelweiss. It's a song. But it's also a place where you can eat.
Edelweiss.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss, Edelweiss.
Sure, that's how you say it.
We look up to Edelweiss. Germany's actually really nice if you ever go there. It's a beautiful country. They got castles at Edelweiss. It's very pretty. It's really pretty. Deutschland, the home of the Vaterland. Motherland's Russia. The fatherland is Germany. They call it the Vaterland, as in the Mutter. The Mutterland is Russia. The Vaterland is Germany. So it's Deutsch, also known as Deutschland. And they have Edelweiss there, where you can go see castles. It's beautiful castles and mountain ranges. Just one of the prettiest places in the world is Germany. It's very pretty.
Yes.
And I've taken about 6 years of German. I used to speak German, read German, and write German. I could do all three. But you have to do it every single day to get proficient, just like any other language, because language is the hardest thing to understand. Well, language is the hardest thing to
You're
learn.
having trouble with your language.
Language is the hardest thing to learn, and it takes focus. You have to be able to focus. Language
Focus.
is the
Focus
hardest
with the
thing
fun,
to
with the flow.
learn, but
Focus
it's
with the fun,
also
with the flow, with the flow,
the
flow.
hardest
Free,
thing.
Fall. Out. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Language is the hardest thing to learn, but it's also the hardest thing to contain. Language. It's hard to contain language. A long time ago, the business language was French. So if you were to meet at a universal meeting, everyone had to know French. Now, it's English. 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 It's English.